jokers, this ain't no jokers. Today in this video, I am going to tell you why I believe I am going to well over 10x my money in TTCF stock, Tattooed Chef. Yeah, the most hated stock, controversial stock on my channel in a long time. That's earnings day. Tattooed Chef earnings are out. Video that everybody's been waiting on for the past 24 hours. TTCF.
Alright guys, in case you haven't realized it by now, Jeremy Lafarge from Financial Education has been horribly wrong about Tattooed Chef, ticker symbol TTCF. And it's actually kind of funny. The other day, I happened to be watching one of his videos from a year ago. And in this video, he reviewed Everything Money's video and review of Tattooed Chef. And basically, Everything Money had a prediction that Tattooed Chef eventually would be worth $5.11. And keep in mind, this is at a time when Tattooed Chef was trading around like $15, $20 a share. In retrospect, I think we can all say that they were right. But in this video, I want to go over a few points that Jeremy said about Tattooed Chef and how they all were proved wrong, and some of the valid points that Everything Money had about Tattooed Chef, which I think you should pay attention to as well, especially if you're invested in this stock. So let's get started. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to this channel, and let's get started. Okay, so I want to start off by talking about the few points that Jeremy had about Tattooed Chef that he was really looking forward to in the future, and I want to tackle these one by one. The first one is store expansions and SKU expansions. So Jeremy thought that in the future there's a lot of opportunity for growth in different stores for Tattooed Chef to be selling in, along with growing a bunch of variety in terms of products that they sell. Now, for Jeremy's defense, there have been a lot more Tattooed Chef products out there. There's a lot more variety. They got breakfast. They got all these different things they're working on now. However, I don't really think they have gone out to that many stores at this point. From what I understand, they still sell primarily at Target. If you guys think they sell anywhere else, let me know in the comments below. But from what I understand, that's basically their main customer at this point. Now, Jeremy's next point was the S&P 500 inclusion in the year 2023. I think we can all agree that we don't see Tattooed Chef going or entering the S&P 500 anytime soon. At this point, I mean, the stock is worth, I think, $3 or $4 a share. And we all remember the hype that was behind Tesla when Tesla was added to the S&P 500. I don't see that hype right now, or even close to that hype with Tattooed Chef. And in that case, I think that there is a very slim, if any chance, that Tattooed Chef will be in the S&P 500 in the next year or two. There's a lot they need to prove. And it's not just that they can be added to the S&P 500 automatically, you know, something crazy happens and, oh, they're added. No, they need to have profitable quarters for like a certain amount of quarters as well. And right now, they are far from that. Another misconception that Jeremy had a year ago about Tattooed Chef that is far from the truth at this point is that he thought they would have $1 billion in revenue by 2026. And judging by their financials right now, I really don't think that's going to happen either. 2026 is like 3-4 years. I think he even said 2025. I think Tattooed Chef Management said 2026. Jeremy thought they would hit $1 billion in 2025. And right now, I just don't see that happening. And finally, a similar point that Jeremy had to my first point is that Jeremy thought that Tattooed Chef would have a huge opportunity in international markets. However, similar to what I said earlier, I really don't see them expanding in terms of different places that they're in. From what I understand, they're still basically in Target. There might be in small stores here and there. I don't see any big client picking them up as of yet. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but that's what I know as of right now. Now, let's switch gears and let's talk about the things that Everything Money spoke about in their video they made last year criticizing Tattooed Chef. So Everything Money's basic criticism was two main points. They said that this is an overhyped meme stock. That was their first point. And their second point was that they are diluting shareholders like crazy. Those are two main points. And again, they didn't really go into the fundamentals of the company, their products, or any of that. But they went over these financial instruments that they think are red flags. So dilution. This means that if you have one share, they'll break them up into two shares, so you essentially have the same value, but now you have two shares. What this does is that it dilutes the value that a shareholder has of a company. I think Everything Money had mentioned that yes, Tattooed Chef grew by like 45% in one quarter, but they also diluted shareholders by 35%. The difference is not as crazy as it seems, right? You might be thinking, oh my God, there's explosive growth and profitability and all of that. No, it's far from that. It's actually misleading, one can say. So that was another thing. And then the fact that they are overhyped, I think everyone can agree with that. I think at the time, Tattoo Chef was, it became public through a SPAC. And at the time, SPACs had a lot of hype behind them. A lot of meme stocks were SPACs. And now that a lot of that hype is over, we're back in reality, and well, Tattoo Chef is a $4, $5 stock now. So I think that Everything Money in their analysis a year ago was very accurate and very intelligent. Now that we went over the points that Jeremy had about the stock and what Everything Money had about the stock, I think we can all agree who was right and who was wrong. I also wanted to mention how much money Jeremy lost in Tattooed Chef, because I was watching another one of his videos and I realized that Jeremy had 87,000 shares. He actually revealed how many shares he had of Tattooed Chef at that point. And he said by the summer of 2022, he was planning to have 100,000 shares of Tattooed Chef. Now, I'm going to be conservative and I'm going to assume that he didn't get to 100,000 shares. He still owns 87,000 shares and he stopped buying it because he was smart. And at the time he made this video, I think Tattooed Chef was around $15 a share. Now, if that is the case, if he had 87,000 shares at like $15 a share, I think that put his investment at around $1.3 million. It was somewhere in that range. And if that's the case, that means that right now, those 87,000 shares would probably be worth around like what, $300,000, $400,000. So essentially he lost almost $1 million just with Tattooed Chef. And I'm not gonna stop there. I'll take it a step further. So there were a few other companies that Jeremy invested in that were not so good. A lot of you guys might remember Voyager Digital. Jeremy used to talk about the stock a lot. Voyager Digital was like another, I think it was an app similar to Coinbase. They dealt with a lot of cryptocurrencies. Well, I think in July of this year, they filed for bankruptcy. And Jeremy, after talking about the stock for so much, how he's heavily invested, I think the guy lost around $300,000 in that stock too, if not more. So right there, we're probably looking at $1.3, $1.4 million of losses. Now, let's not forget his other huge investments. He still had investments in companies like Walgreens and Honest, stocks like Corsair Gaming. And if we do the math, I personally did do the math, and I think his losses come out to around $2.5 million at least. And this is me being nice and being very conservative. And this is why I say I personally don't think Jeremy is as good of an investor as many people think he is. I think he goes after some of the hype stocks. I think he became a little delusional after making it big in Tesla. And I admit that was a very good play that he had of buying Tesla. But I don't think that all these other stocks are like Tesla. I don't think Tattooed Chef is changing the world. I don't think Honest is changing the world. I don't think Corsair Gaming was changing the world. So I don't think these are fair comparisons. Now, he got lucky in Tesla. He thinks he'll get lucky in one of those other stocks. Unfortunately, that's not always the case, and I think he's losing big because he's getting too emotional. Well, what do you guys think about this video? What are your comments, thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, peace.